here. Let's go for the one punch KO. Thoughts? Just like that, we turned the whole table. Elspeth sick. Thanks. Good game. Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are here to absolutely bully the meta and try to take over the meta once again with an old favorite of mine when it's not too popular, because when this deck is popular, just like Pixie, it can be pretty miserable as your games will drag out very long. But if you're the one playing Caretaker's Talent, you're having all the fun. You're drawing all the cards, you're doing all the things, you're getting all the free value, and you just don't have to do anything. You just sit back and get to watch your opponent squirm, which is pretty awesome. So Caretaker's Talent, if you don't know what it does, for some reason you missed kind of when it was at its peak. Whenever a token enters the battlefield under our control, we draw a card. Triggers only once a turn, so we can do it on our turn and our opponent's turn. Why we use cards like Carrot Cake that we can sacrifice on our opponent's turn to make a rabbit and play on our turn to make a rabbit, and that eventually draws us 2 cards. Unless we, of course, play it early while gaining some life. But the bottom mode is for 1 white. We can level it up and then make a copy of a token we control, and then on the bottom one it just becomes an anthem that is pretty good for 4 mana, as this card keeps all the modes so you don't lose anything. Now what are we doing? We have all these permanents and they're all 3 mana or less. We're going to be using the brand new card United Battlefront. We played this in Synthesizer. We're going to play it in this deck, and this is honestly the first deck I thought about it, but I always play Synthesizer when that new set drops apparently, so I end up just going to that deck. But this card just is a dream with a card like Caretaker's Talent, because you always want to find it, and when you always need to find it, this can get you there. Or in the matchups where Temporary Lockdown's so good, this can always get us there by looking at the top 7 cards of our library, put up to 2 non-creature, non-land cards from among them, with mana value 3 or less onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So it's very common for us to look at the top, just grab a Caretaker's Talent in the Siege, or a Temporary Lockdown in a Caretaker's Talent, or Forge in a Temporary Lockdown, exiling our opponent's board while also progressing our game plan in the long run. And we're going to be showing off one other new card here, and that is Windcrag Siege. Mainly only ever using this on the Jeskai side for this deck specifically. I have used the Mardu side on other decks. But this says at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. And that is very good, because that allows us to have a Phyrexian arena, essentially, with gaining a life instead of losing a life if we get that 1/1 lifelinker to strike for damage. But with Caretaker's Talent in play, that's just a free way to trigger this every single turn. We don't have to invest our mana, or we can use it to level up to Caretaker's Talent, or play something a little bit higher like an Elspeth Storm Slayer instead of like investing in a Carrot Cake. I guess this card's also new, so I have one more new card. This card is what wins us the game overall if our board gets kind of slow or our opponent's starting to take over. This is one of the great equalizers for our deck. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. So Urbrass Forge picks up to 3. This makes 2 3/1s with trample and haste. Our Wind Seeds on our upkeep makes 2 lifelinking goblins for free. Elspeth in pluses and makes them, or even zeros, which will come up quite often in today's video, and let us 1-punch our opponent in the noggin, which is also awesome. So this card, a huge clutch factor in the deck. We have 2 Day of Judgments. We have Torch Tower and Chainsaw to act as our removal. Chainsaw is only being played in here because it can technically be grabbed by Battlefront, but instead of loading up on 4 of those, we are playing 2 copies of High Noon. So it causes our opponents absolute misery. I told you we're bullying today, and that is our goal, to make sure that the blue-red kind of core steel deck can't necessarily pop off anymore, because we are shutting down their 2 spells a turn, and also the Esper Pixie decks. Unless this town ain't big enough, they could play their Pixie, pick up their Hopeless Nightmare, and then wait until their next turn to cast it, and that would entirely end their turn, allowing us to set up all of our other awesome stuff we're trying to do. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into games, and let's show off how well this deck actually can perform. Elspeth is so far away, right? So we just have to like let that go. Sure. You can High Noon this deck, because then they don't really get to do much. Even though Temporary Lockdown's so good. It's like one of those weird things. But it's Esper Pixie, so it's like High Nooning them is just so good. Get rid of this and we'll play it later. High noon. One spell a turn. You can pick that up all you want. You just will not play it again. Have a good time, Mr. Opponent. And at any point we want, we can always bargain it away, right? Like when we're ready to win and we're way farther ahead, we can just bargain away. The only real fear is a Kaido here, which one reason I kind of wanted to torch the Pixie and then go that route. But if I have to... Ooh, I guess I can't double torch it. Yeah. Maybe I should have played that route, but worst case scenario is like fear, pick this back up, and then what do I do? Okay. All right. That's actually incredible. I get to play my temporary lockdown, and because the way this works, my high noon will come back. Because my high noon was exiled under a shelter by Ghost, so now I fully get it back, which is awesome. Now, can they this town this? Maybe, but they have to wait until my turn to do it, which honestly works for them. But yeah, you want to stop a Pixie player from just getting to do everything every single turn when 3 spells to turn you? Just high noon them. Just tell them. Just let them know. Just let them know. We get to go first here. The epitome of all arena games. We have 3 mana permanents and we need to draw a land. So let's see it before I start yapping. Yep. Let's see if we draw a land in our 3-ish draws against an aggro player. Oh, that means we automatically won't. Oh, we did. We've all been there. I won't be told otherwise. Will Spell Pierce make an appearance? Who knows? Storm Chaser, so blue's down. They just didn't want to trigger the Prowess. This is like a free way to trigger Prowess, so I'm surprised they didn't. Temporary lockdown? They just have a red, so like, this is most likely a Burst Lightning. Now we get to call it a day. Another land, a little part of us wants to wheel this, but I just don't know if it's worth. Well, we'll see. Because Urbrass Forge doesn't really do much in this matchup. I guess making 1/1 lifelinkers is good. One spell a turn. One spell. Come on, double speller. Let's see it. Play your Swift Spear and pass. Okay. That now is officially taking the entire turn. I just start making life. No, I need to scry here. I need to find a land. This could be this town. That pause there. Land, please. I have the card I want to cast. I would like to play it. Oh, they draw that card. Cool. Could be a Steel Cutter, maybe. And then they still don't draw or do another thing. Or it's a way to deal with this. Sure. I guess I take 5. Level up here. Nice. Grabbing stock up, I assume. Oh, man. I'm here. I'm just waiting to draw a land. We are 13 cards deep, and our Prowess stack on 21 has way more than this, which is fine. It just is what it is. I want to pop this, but I need to kind of draw the land naturally, I think. I will chump now, because I'm going to make creatures, maybe. And they can't cast another thing. It's just a little life we make here. Oh my gosh, bro. Just one little life. You can totally outpace that. Oh man, the worst part of all this, I'm kind of calling it. I'm going to scry. It will or will not be a land. And whatever it is, I will cast this Battlefront. And then, most likely what's going to happen as I'm going to look at 7 lands and then just concede and move on. Sure. They'll level up here? Weird. We're trying so hard. A land? You mean it? Here. It could block. Oh, they do not. Barrel. All right. Maybe I messed up a little. I should have probably grabbed that second high noon, maybe. Sure. I'm at 9. Sure. You can just equip that, which is obviously tough. We want to fully block here, even though it's not much. They can't cast another spell right now. When we go to 5, we'll make a life gainer. We can attack, and then we try to wipe the board. Again, they could have spell pierce, obviously, so a little whack. Weird one. For brass, tick up. Here. If they have a spell pierce, we're losing anyway, right? So they play like 2 if they're playing the tournament list. They only get 1 spell a turn, so this isn't gonna get anything here. Now, what could happen is they could burst lightning me for 2 and then burst lightning me on my upkeep, and I could die. Yeah, just not really having lands here has been awful, right? But at least at this point, we have 2 cards a turn. And if this can hopefully life gain us out of the game, that'd be awesome. But yeah, buyback of Burst Lightning is definitely possible. Swift Spear, nothing else to go with it. Buyback Burst Lightning. Pick it for 4 damage. So close. So close. Yeah. Draw 2 cards. Okay. Air cake. I mean, I'll just take lands at this point. This doesn't have lifelink on this turn, so it has to attack. Declare that as an attacker. Thank you. Here, we don't have any bigger toughness, so it doesn't really matter. It could double burn spell me here, so I'm gonna pop this now. I know I don't get a card draw, but I think it matters all the more. Just put my life total as high as I can. Sure. I have essentially 9 life. Well, we'll see those cards next turn. Hey, nice spell pierce. So this does what? 4? So they have 3. They can't cast another spell currently. So if I block with 2 of these, that will hit for 1, and I can live at 5, level this up, and win? I don't know. I don't know the math, dude. Oh. Sure. So they still have spell pierce. Draw. Draw. This is +4. Or plus 2. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and plenty enough. 5 damage here can happen, but as soon as I do that, it's all downhill. That auto resolved. Holy moly, we win that game. That was absurd. Man, High Noon saving us, because if we did not have High Noon and with the amount of lands we were hitting there, we were screwed 100%. But turning this card into just an equipment was pretty awesome, obviously. So with that said, we'll move on. Yeah, we will keep this. Looking for one more land. Awesome. We can go right into this. We can establish with this. See what's up. Maybe they have Spell Pierce. This pause kind of implies they do. Okay, it's just opt. All right. We have essentially the same exact matchup as before, but we don't have a High Noon in play. Chainsaw I'm going to let go. Looking for said High Noon or Caretaker's, getting us closer to Caretaker's talent. I'm going to play this. Yo, this is essentially 1 extra life. It is essentially 1 extra life. This is definitely they cast second spell, and then I probably, to some extent, just want a temporary lockdown. Like, I could wheel this, but what's that get in comparison to answering this entire board for 3 mana? Torch does make it interesting, actually. It's... It'll give me a draw, right? Yeah, but I just lose. Whatever. I'm playing this. Okay, cool. It's like they have so many bounce effects in their deck now that they could just beat me, but temporary lockdown just wins. So I know I tanked for a while in that choice, but we've all been there where you play it, they bounce it with Flood Maul or something, and then you just get absolutely ran. So I was trying to think of how to torch draw an extra card to ensure on the following turns I'd be fine, but whatever. Well, if we're gonna be on a draw, we want this heavy of a removal hand, so we're pretty fine. Sure. I refuse. This deck doesn't really play Deep Cavern Bat, so we don't really care. We'll just get rid of the land here. We will always establish a Caretaker's Talent before the Forge in this matchup because Caretaker's Talent does draw us a card. This is probably a nowhere to run. They're holding up, so we'll just play this and we'll use this Chainsaw as a discard effect. Or we'll use this card whenever they hit us with the discard effect, I guess. This one. They only held up Orzhov mana last turn, so I can't imagine that this is a counterspell, but it could be. Hey, what's the pause? What do they have that's pausing? The 2/1 that taps a thing? Okay. The Cake of Carrots. Can you beat this? Might be able to. Make my token? Yeah, sure. Because we're drawing this right away, I'm fine with it. Because of the fact that, I don't know, seems pretty enjoyable to start barreling these against the discard deck. Just playing Scavenger and only had Scavenger, apparently. Sure. There's nowhere to run. I guess that would hold priority no matter what. It pauses even if there's a creature in play or not. Like Go for the Throat, for example, doesn't hold priority at all. But, oh well. Sure. I will allow it. here. We'll see if they throw this in. If they do and we draw a land, Elspeth can come down. Sure. Although, honestly, I probably just chainsaw this and then play Urbrass Forge, right? But let's start off with a Forge. So I have 2 mana to pay for, like, the 2 mana counter spells. And I'd rather not get hit with the whackness. And then I honestly kind of want to try to have my Torch the Tower do the damage. Is this any target? Creature? Honestly, you should probably do the chainsaw regardless then. Because if they play a Kaido, I'm going to need the Torch. Vulnerable. I'll let it happen. That's okay with me. Chainsaw. Now, if they have a counter spell, it does open the way for this and this. This one. They could this town, I suppose. But I'm already drawing everything. Oh, sure. Fine. That is perfectly okay with me. I'll get to play land. I'll get to play this Elspeth. I'll get to make 2 tokens. And the Urbrass Forge will also make 2 tokens. We're about to see how awesome Elspeth can get. Unless, of course, they spend 5 mana to bounce 2 of my permanents, which is also fine. Not, like, fine, but fine. You know what I mean? And then we just hold them in hand, and we just play an Elspeth, start making tokens anyway. And then now that this town doesn't do anything. Oh. That is entirely different than what I thought we were about to see. If they activate here, that entirely means that they're going shields down this turn. Sure. I would like to play an Elspeth. I'd like to do this.
More heroes for the cause.
Uh-huh. So here, here, and here. The best part about all this is when we copy here, let's make 2 more. We're ready to go. We're primed. That's like one of the things about this card is it's such a good backup plan or beginning plan. If we already have all the cards, you play the guarantee effects. You don't necessarily want to overcommit to doing the bad thing. A Shielder's Edict obviously gets our Elspeth, but who cares at this point? Look at our board. But if it gets to the point that we had nothing, we barrel the battlefront and hopefully we hit. But if we have all the cards, we just play the cards, and if our opponent answers them all, or we run out of gas, it's just such a good barrel next turn. Like, if we draw nothing here, we just fire it off. I'll let you go. Sorry, sweet prince. I saw a video yesterday. You know, an infamous TikTok, Instagram, YouTube short, some short from somewhere. It was YouTube. You know, we're gonna give YouTube the gas, obviously. But it was just a rabbit laying full on its back in like a patch of grapes that it has found, and it was so funny. Sure. It's perfectly fine with me. Let us here. Let's go for the 1-punch KO. Thoughts? Just like that, we turned the whole table. Elspeth's sick. Thanks. Good game. If it'll pop out. But good game, Ben. Hopefully see you next time. We didn't hide Nunu, so you should be happy about that. But yeah, if you look at their hand, there was just nothing that their hand really did to affect us. Caretaker's talent just makes this card feel awful because what does it do, right? We sacrifice a 1/1 and then just turn the entire table against them. which is unfortunate for them, obviously. But Caretaker's Talent is one of my favorite cards against the Esper matchup because it's so good. Well, this fits our category of good stuff, I think. We just would like to have a white source that doesn't hit us to death, but that can't always be avoided. Just the way our mana works out in these games currently. Okay. The Carrot Cake. We will most likely just block this. I'm going to bend that land, even though that doesn't necessarily feel the best. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to find one that doesn't ping me every time I'd like to play the game. Okay. Sure. Against this matchup, it is infinitely worth temp lockdowning. That's why I want to block this. You may play it until the end of your next turn, but I'm not blocking it now. And the reason for that is because I don't want to give them a free card draw in a spot like this. And block down. And just like that, I mean, they've only hit me twice and I'm at 15 thanks to our lovely mana base currently. Maybe not taking that land is a mistake, but I kind of stand by that decision. Hopefully they don't have a lot to fill the board again and the siege will be good, but it seems like they have quite enough. I really needed it to be the fourth one. Whatever one they plus, we'll use the chainsaw to eliminate. Of course. Get bottom that. Oh man, why are these games just so hard to get cards into my hand? I think I have to establish this actually. Just so hard to get cards into my hand that are lands. Fourth land from them, so hopefully it's kind of dead. Not dead, but it's powered up. A land, but it's tapped, unfortunately. Now we could chainsaw this and it's only 4. Or I think I just take the extra draw here, because then we can chainsaw and then sack that for life next turn. Ooh. Oh, huge pickup actually. I don't want them to get a creature back, so resolve. Bottom. Sweet, there's a land. I understand the speed's there. Carrot Cake's pretty awesome. We're figuring it out, team. Game, I'm trying. Okay. How crazy are we? It works though, right? Barring a flyer. Barring a flyer or a haster, I guess. Sure. I guess here. Sure, I guess. But now the attacks are weird. When another creature control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to target opponent. Okay. Okay. Leave on top. Okay. Here. Bottom. Should have held on that land, I think. Yeah, this should have been held, I think. Because now I can't sack and chainsaw. Brutal. I think we're just going to die to this one creature here. They concede? What did they leave on top? Did they give me a turn? That's crazy. You just needed one. You just needed one creature. One more counter and this goes and hits me for lethal with flying. What a game. I don't have the land. But I played this like an idiot. I mean, I guess it did surveil away a card, so I wasn't guaranteed to get... Actually, I wouldn't have gotten to this, right? I've been one away. So it didn't end up punishing me, but still, regardless. Another one of those things where if it's aggro or hand's too good not to keep. Because this card's so good in the meta currently. I'll just keep that. I can't complain about a land every game and then, like, when I get it, you know? Alright, so here's a weird thing. I don't typically like chainsawing this because they can always bring it back, but I don't think I want to wait for a temporary lockdown at any point. We're going to play this and start making tokens to kind of battle back, and the life gain can help a lot, or our opponent can take it, but I feel like we know what they're taking. Feels like a pretty easy answer for us. Alright, maybe I shouldn't have kept the land. Unfortunately, here we are. Now we're just going to continue to gain life, and we'll stay at 20 and 19 over and over again. Besides, I guess, if they play a life gainer that can block in a spot. In this spot. But all my lands. That's pretty good. Like, at this point, it's like... I believe in him. But I mean, if we're gonna lose to a flood after a couple of games and not being able to hit lands, then you know it is what it is. It's one of those things where, like, sometimes games influence you, or previous games influence you, because would I have kept that land on top in most spots? Probably not, to be honest. But because of how the last game ended, I feel like I have to. Gain me 4 life, boss. Just gaining me life. Go. You know what card's good? I'll hold. You can gain me 4+ and 2. You have to sometimes think of life gain that way, even though it's weird to think about it that way. But a second temporary lockdown is what we're after. They could bring these back just to gain a lot of life. Ooh. It's kind of temporary lockdown or bust now, huh? Or a removal spell for this. Oh my, man. Think you gained a nut? Brother, stop triggering this thing! I throw up, dude. Also, draw 4. Why not? Huh? I love being an idiot. It's so fun. Here. I want to gain my 1 life, please. Okay. Sure. Temporary lockdown. I could go for high noon, but I just don't know if that's good. Don't want that. I tell you that. How I promise you that. Sure. Maybe I should have shot this, but like, so what? Yeah. 1, 2, 5. Actually, I guess I'm gonna get a free draw regardless. The scry is not that important. Maybe I should have kept a day. Who knows? I felt like it was reasonable not to. Ooh, poggers. Would have thought. Kind of want to scry here. By sacrificing, I don't know, something. I suppose. Awesome card. Brutal. High noon. Now we get to play together. You have another raise to pass to gain quite a bit of life. They can only cast one spell a turn now, so they can't raise to pass and offspring this. That's kind of the main thing that High Noon's preventing here now. You have a get lost. I die immediately if they blow up the temporary lockdown. Okay. My one life matter. Okay. This is second raise to pass, by the way. Sure. Alright, fair enough. They've been all those. I mean, they have another raise to pass. Who knows? Not me. I know what my top card is, and I really enjoy it. Okay. A little tough, yeah? A little tough? Sure. My token is here to gain me infinite amount of life. That's the only spell they can cast this turn, by the way. Sure. They're just digging for an additional raise to pass. Sure. I can't necessarily do that, so... And if they play the guy that does damage to me, they're going to win the game anyway. Sure. How many more copies of this do we want? I don't know, team. You answer. I don't have answers anymore. I could have played Urbrass Forge, but I think I have to activate my Fountain Port. I'm at 10. Sure. And I can always make like, well, I guess they're 3/3s, right? So it's actually kind of scary for them to attack. One. Enough. Take a treasure. Make more dudes. Hey. Another way to make my opponent put a hole in the wall. No. Let's... I don't know if I necessarily need this right now. Instantly resolving, huh? Here? Sweet. Oh, I don't... Do I want to give up my High Noon? Or do I just want to keep playing this way? I think just playing this way is fine. I think about it. Sure. Just doesn't really do much, right? It's a gain 3 and they dig for raise to pass. And as soon as they find it, like, unless the actual win conditions in there, then I don't really care. And we're going to keep drawing because at any point an Elspeth off the top here will be brutal. No more spell for you. Yep. Here. There's also a world where I just like take that damage, but probably not at the same time. Fountain port, sure. 2 more of these cooked. Ooh, did I get there? Let's play our land. What is +2? So what? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. No, it's +1, so it's 4. So 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 24. Plus this level up. Can I do that? I can. Or it's already leveled up. What am I talking about? Let's just do this though. I forgot about Urbrass Forge. Wait. I think that's definitely lethal. I'm not counting anymore. I'm in. I forgot about Urbrass Forge. I had too many permanents going on. I didn't know what was happening. But very cool. We hit plat 2. Kind of recovered from my trolling I was doing on deck building. But yeah, sweet. We'll go to the outro now. All right. So very awesome. At the end of the day, it worked out incredibly well. We ended up going super positive on the day. The only loss I had that I can think of, I might have had another loss. I don't remember. It was against mono red, and I kept a hand on the draw that had a Caretaker's Talent, Urbrass Forge, and I think one of these in like a Battlefront. And then I drew 2 Caretaker's Talents in a row, and my opponent played a Heartfire Hero and a Manifold Mouse, and I just moved on. I didn't even bother drawing another card because they were getting the untap with that amount of power and stuff, and I was like, I don't care enough. It's just way better to move on. Oh, the very first game I played, I lost blue-white control because that matchup's really hard. And I honestly don't have a lot of time to record. I just ended up conceding and moving on because I know I'd be able to get a lot more games in than playing like a 35-minute game with blue-white control. But outside of that, I mean, this deck worked fairly well. I went full into this card. I think this card was definitely worth it. The 1/1 goblins with lifelink, even the fact that they didn't even have lifelink, as we use it kind of counterproductively in terms of not attacking with them, we just use them to block big creatures that technically gain us way more life if you do the math, I guess. But yeah, these cards are all worth playing. Temporary Lockdown is just so good right now, and being able to either draw it or have it in hand or barrel for the next 7 to find it is very, very good, especially when we have cards like Caretaker's Talent that can enter with it, not get taken underneath it, and then on following turns start to take over the game. Also against Esper Pixie, if that matchup is very frustrating for you most of the time, Caretaker's Talent is arguably one of the best cards to beat that matchup, and it's not particularly close because of the fact of how many cards this can draw and how live every card makes this card, especially something like a Carrot Cake that you've established earlier in the game, because they find it pretty hard to just deal with that over time. But obviously, if Esper Pixie does what Esper Pixie does and rips your entire hand apart before you get to it with like a Hopeless Nightmare Pixie shenanigans doing that over and over again, then a lot of times there's just nothing you can do. But with Temporary Lockdown, Caretaker's Talent, we can hopefully bridge that gap in that matchup, especially when we just play 4 lands and we top deck one of these. It can totally buy us back into that game, so that's pretty awesome. And also, Elspeth is dope. This card's so sick. It turns random turns into just absolutely crushing lethal turns, and it does it so quick. I think we did it twice in today's video. As soon as we resolved this card, it just won the game kind of on the spot, or it was just going to end up taking over the game. And in a dry board, and what I mean by dry board is nothing's in play, this card will take over the game if they don't immediately remove it. If you're making 2 tokens, doesn't sound like a lot, but the Wandering Emperor was very hard to beat when it just made a 2/2 every turn. This is now making 2 1/1s and then it's 4 1/1s on the next turn. It still makes 2, but that's 4 creatures if you don't answer anything. And it just becomes overwhelming way too fast. And it can also remove, you know, your big creatures with the turn we play it. So something like a Shielder just gets bodied out of the way. But outside of that, this deck was awesome. I had a lot of fun. High Noon came up super clutch in today's video. We are definitely a 1 spell a turn kind of deck. This allows us to optimize that to the max, where we just are getting value by doing absolutely nothing the entire game. And that's pretty sweet for that to help us in that game plan. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.